Does that mean Deon is human? What the? I knew it! I knew it! Deon is human! Yay! What's up, guys? My name's Ryan Jagneel, and welcome back to Locked Heart. So last where we left off, we had to help Deon get out of trouble and stuff, but we bonded with him more. We found out a little bit more about Aura's past, about her father and what he was. Sorry. And yeah, they bonded a little bit more. We found out Royal and Deon were best friends. That's a shock because they never get along. But we know the other stuff that we already found out in Soul's Route, how Soul and Deanna aren't really in terms with each other. But now we're gonna sneak out and meet Deon like we promised. So let us continue. I stood on my tiptoes and tried to walk as quietly as I could. But a chef is never trained to sneak around mansions in the middle of the night. Oh, how did I get into this mess again? What is this surprise you're talking about? I want you to come meet someone special. Oh, are we going to meet Gold? Deanna's someone you consider special, huh? Could it be Lily? It can't be, since I've already met her. Well, why do we have to do this in the middle of the night? What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell, love? Perhaps we should go and visit my sister some other day. I'm finally going to meet Gold? Hurry up, Aura. Deon kept his voice low, and I tried to do the same. Ugh. Don't you want to meet my sister? I'd love to meet your sister, but why are we going now of all times? It's the middle of the night. Can't I just meet her the normal way? Sneaking out like this feels like I'm doing something illegal. If Royal finds out, he'll be angry, and I know you won't like it if he gets angry. So it has to be now. All this time, I was worried that Miss Maria would be the one to get angry at us. But instead, it was Royal's wrath I should be worried about. But why would he get angry? I shook my head. There were too many questions waiting on me for answers. Then again, it might be fun to torment Royal a little bit. He's been moody lately. I frowned at Deon's chuckling. Did he take anything seriously? Deon, when will you ever become more mature and responsible? Deon froze. I obviously hit a sore spot. Responsible, huh? Deon murmured. He stayed quiet with a thoughtful look on his face. I fidgeted in the silence, almost regretting my words. At last, he spoke. Everyone has been telling me that. Deon smiled, and I was surprised with his sudden change of mood. But if that is your wish, I will try to be more mature. But only if I'm doing it for you. I rolled my eyes. Yeah, that's maturity right there. Give me some credit, will you? I've been this way for a long time. It's hard to change personalities overnight. You do have a point, I suppose. Good. I'm glad you think so. I didn't say anything else, following Deon and wondering what happened to him in the past. His carefree attitude and immaturity. It was as if those traits were just a facade to hide who really is. We're here. Deon pointed at the large double doors. I carefully opened it and tiptoed into the room, remembering to close the door behind us. Aura, meet my sister, Gold. Gold, this is Aura. Ooh, she's so pretty. Deon gestured at the lovely porcelain doll sitting on a velvet settee. I know she's always pretty. It's a pleasure to meet you, Gold. I paused, expecting her to answer like the others, but she remained silent. I suddenly remembered what they mentioned before about her being a lifeless doll. Beautiful, isn't she? I just wish that I could hear her voice once again. Gold. She's my precious little sister, and yet I couldn't do anything to protect her from this curse. This is the first time Deon had looked so angry and frustrated. He must love his sister very much. Don't blame yourself, Deon. It wasn't your fault. It seems like I'm not really capable of protecting anyone. But then, I guess the curse has its perks, because Gold is safer now that he's not here. There was anger in his voice as he spoke. He? Who is Deon talking about? Soul. I cringed when my locket burned against my chest again. I yanked it from under my shirt and stared at it, expecting it to be cold just like before, but it remained strangely hot in my palm. My heart. Huh? Did you hear that? Hear what? I stayed silent and listened, but the voice never came back. It must have been my imagination. Nope, it's not. Deon gasped when he caught sight of the locket. That locket. It looks just like the one Gold had. Where'd you get it? My mother gave it to me. She told me to keep it until I met a certain person. Deon's brow quirked, as if he did not quite believe me, but he didn't argue. A certain person? Yes. But I have no idea who she meant. Can I see it? Of course. I took the necklace off and offered it to him. My neck felt a little bare after wearing it for so long. Deon tried to pry it open with his paws, but the locket wouldn't budge. It was already broken when she gave it to me, so it's impossible to open it. There's so much rust. I leaned closer, staring at my locket. It was always a bit rusty, but it didn't have that much rust on there before. Deon stared at it for a long time. Why do I get the feeling of this? Before he could continue what he was about to say, he shook his head and sighed. Impossible. I'm sure there are many shops that sell lockets like this one. I was about to ask what he meant when a knock caused both of us to freeze. It's Royal! Quick, we must hide! I opened my mouth to ask how he knew it was Royal, but then thought better of it. If Royal heard me now, we would both be in big trouble. Great. I'm starting to think like Deon. I looked around wildly. Where could I hide? Deon was small. He could fit anywhere, but I, on the other hand... Where should I hide? Save. Excuse me. I think seeing how the bedroom is laid out, I think the bed would not be the safest, so I think the wardrobe. Let's check. Spotting the perfect hiding place, I pulled the wardrobe door open with one hand and stumbled inside, closing the door behind me. Deon's paw rested against my leg. I held my breath as I heard the door to Gold's room open. Without warning, Deon reached a paw out and opened the wardrobe door a crack. Deon, what do you think you're doing? We'll get caught! I want to see if Royal will do something different today. Something different? What did he mean by that? I bit back a retort. I had to admit I was rather curious, too. Tentatively, I peered out to get a better look. Royal was kneeling in front of Gold, with an unreadable expression on his face, but his words were filled with emotion. Gold, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Why is he... After another few minutes passed, Royal finally left the room. I stepped out of my hiding place when I was sure that he was not coming back. That guy, he does that every day. Sometimes I wonder why Gold hasn't gotten tired of hearing him say those words. Assuming that she can hear us, that is. I wasn't sure what to make of Deon's words. They carried that gentle humor he used with Royal, but there was something sad in his voice too. Deon, did something happen between them? Well, depending on what you mean by something. For starters, he had had a crush on her since we were young. Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if Deon was even supposed to tell me this. I felt like I just discovered a really dark secret. Yeah, Deon, why'd you say that? If Royal knew, he would surely get angry. He promised her before that he would be her knight in shining armor. Stupid, right? Now he blames himself for Gold's curse because he couldn't protect her. He failed to fulfill his promise. Protecting the person you care about isn't stupid at all. I smiled to myself. There used to be people who protected me once upon a time, but now... I closed my eyes and willed the pain to go away. I'm not about to burst into tears in front of Deon. I think it's rather sweet. I don't think I'd ever render him speechless, but there he was, staring at me with wide, surprised eyes. We should go before anyone finds us here. Right. And in case I ever forget, do remind me not to sneak into someone's room again. Deon laughed. But that would take away the fun, don't you think? Your idea of fun is more dangerous than anything else. Deon shrugged. I like the challenge. Oh, so they didn't transform in the room. That's surprising. I wonder when they'll transform. It seems like Deon's route is actually the true route because in Soul's route we didn't... Excuse me. In Soul's route we didn't find out about Royal having a crush on her till the end. And in Royal's route we didn't find out about their differences. So it seems like Deon's route is the true route? I think so. We finally bid each other goodnight, and I turned in the direction of my room. But Deon dashed back over to me and touched a paw to my leg, stopping me in my tracks. "Give me your hand, Aura." Puzzled, I held out my hand to him. He took my pinky and shook it. "What was this about?" "I've thought about what you said before. You're right, protecting someone you care about isn't stupid at all. I, of all people, should know that, so I apologize for what I said earlier." I shook my head at him. "There's nothing to apologize for, Deon. I'm really happy that you came into our lives, Aura. It's as if you brought colors into my dull life once again. Somehow. You've given me hope." My eyes widened in surprise. I thought the exact same thing about him before. "That's why I will do my best to protect your precious smile. This will be a promise to you, to always make you happy. This time, I will surely keep it." "This time? I appreciate your thoughtfulness, Deon." I was really touched by his words and could not help but smile. He suddenly looked a lot more serious. "I like you, Aura." I smiled warmly, resting my hand on his paw. "Aw, I like you too, Deon." "That's not what I meant. I like you as in I'm in love with you." Oh god, this is weird because he's a bear. My jaw dropped at his sudden confession, and I quickly let out a laugh to cover my surprise. "Very funny, Deon. You really are a joker." I expected him to burst into fits of laughter, but he frowned, still dead serious. I frowned back at him until realization dawned upon me. You're not joking." Deon nodded. I didn't know what to say. It's not every day a toy bear confesses to you after all. I was imagining things. Living here with toys for company must be driving me crazy. "I really like you, Aura." "Aw, Deon, I like you too. If you go back into your human form, I will kiss you. In fact, I may have fallen in love with you since the day I first saw you, and I'd like nothing more than for you to marry me someday. So straightforward." The image of me marrying a teddy bear popped in my head, and I had to bite back a smile. I really am going nuts. I bent down and patted his head. "Do you even know what you're saying, Deon? Humans can't marry toys." "Technically, I'm a human who was turned into a toy, so I'm still human. I've been with them all of them for more than 3 weeks already, but somehow the thought of them as humans still felt unreal." Deon pouted, his whole body drooping. Excuse me. "Do you hate me, Aura?" Flinching, I quickly shook my head. "No, of course not." "Then be my wife. Please?" Isn't this a bit too fast? Besides, we've only just met a few weeks ago. I've always dreamt of marrying a handsome prince ever since I was young, but never did I imagine that one day I'd end up marrying a toy. You won't be able to say no once I turn back into a human. I wish I could disagree, but I can't. Are you sure you even know what you're saying?" "Of course I do. I'm perfectly sober." I groaned inwardly. He really was persistent. I let out a sigh and patted his head once again. "Then you can try to make me fall for you, though I'm warning you. I'm pretty hard to please." He beamed at me, looking more happy than I had ever seen him since I first came here. He beckoned me to come closer. I lowered my head, wondering what he was going to do. "What are you—" He didn't give me a chance to finish, leaning forward and kissing me on the mouth. "Okay. I love you, Aura." My first kiss. Wait, does that even count? I remember kissing my toys when I was little and laughed at the thought. It definitely does not count at all. I have a request. Even though I dismissed the kiss from counting, I still glared at Deon for what he did. "What is it?" Deon looked at the floor and began fidgeting with his paws. "Can you accompany me tonight?" "What?" "I don't have any bad intentions. Please, at least until I fall asleep. I really didn't want to tell you this, but I've been having nightmares for the past few days, and knowing that I have someone with me will make me feel better." Deon tilted his head, staring with pleading eyes, and for the first time, I saw fear and sadness in him. I was still unhappy about the kiss, but decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. "Oh, all right, but just this once." "Thank you." Oh, his room looks so nice. I like his room. Deon's room was just as gorgeous and even larger than my own. I sat down on a sofa, making myself comfortable as he sauntered toward his bed. I know I've been asking so much from you, Aura, so... I cut him off. No need for explanations or apologies. You're my friend, Deon. You all are, so if staying here will make you feel better, then I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you. Deon was silent before he turned to me with a somber expression. Can I say something, Aura? You don't have to do anything except to listen. Of course. I've never talked about this with anyone else, not even my brother. But with you, it feels like I can tell you everything. Mother, she was the one I could always talk to. That's why, when she passed away, I kept everything to myself. I was puzzled. But Soul, Gold, and Royal have always been by your side. Deon slowly shook his head. For a moment, he seemed far away. No. This burden is mine to carry alone, and I won't let anyone get hurt because of me again. Deon, I miss her, even after all these years. After her death, all my father cared about was wealth and status. He became so blinded by power that I barely recognized him anymore. He was no longer the father I knew and loved. His expression darkened. He paused, hesitated, then started to speak. I know you've been wondering why Soul is the heir and not me. I can only nod in response. I was originally the heir of the family. I was only 10 when my father officially announced that I would inherit the title. Believe it or not, I took it seriously, and I worked so hard to please him. If not, we would suffer the consequences, and I'd rather take the punishment alone than have Soul and Gold be blamed for my mistakes. I strode over to the bed and sat on the edge so I could squeeze his hand. I never imagined that Deon had such a rough childhood, especially since he always had such a happy-go-lucky and carefree personality that tells you that you can hide your pain behind a smile. That depends on how much pain. Deon squeezed back. I used to be so close to Soul and Gold. The three of us were inseparable, but we started to grow apart after I inherited the title. I became the perfect son my father wanted me to be. I gained power and respect, but it made me lose the people who are most important to me. One time, I snuck out of my lesson just so I could play with Soul and Gold. My teacher got so angry, his face flushed red as a tomato. Deon laughed as he recalled those memories. But then Father also got mad. That was the last time I ever played with them. I wish I could have done something differently back then. I really miss my baby sister, but I can't let her see how things have gotten worse between Soul and I. So if this curse ends, how do I face her? Deon? Deon didn't answer my question, and I realized that he already fell asleep. I gingerly stroked his head. My eyes softened in understanding as I watched Deon's small frame sleeping on such a big bed. He looked so vulnerable and lonely. He never got the chance to tell me why Soul was the heir and what was going on between them. Deon, even though he already told me this much, I know in my heart that he carried a heavy burden. I can only imagine how wicked his father was. No wonder the toy maker punished him. But why about the whole family as well? Deon doesn't deserve this. This conversation just made things even more complicated by adding more unanswered questions to my list. Deon is softly snoring now, and while I did say that I would only stay until he fell asleep, I didn't have the heart to leave him in this large empty room. Perhaps I'll stay a little longer. Aura. I frankly looked around me, but it was pitch black. I couldn't see anything. Where am I? I was in Deon's room a while ago. Did I fall asleep as well? If I did, then this must be a dream. Aura. The strange voice called once again, but this time I saw her standing just a few feet from me. Ooh, it's the toy maker. A tall, beautiful woman wearing a ragged cloak. Bleh. Her long blonde hair cascaded down her shoulders, and her hazel eyes were gentle and warm. So we finally meet. Huh? I tried to think who this woman could be. I was sure that she was not Gold. I saw her pictures around the house, and they looked nothing like this woman. I caught a glimpse of a teddy bear charm dangling on her belt, and my jaw dropped in understanding. You're the toy maker? She smiled and nodded. Then please undo the curse. They've been suffering for 7 years. Isn't that more than enough? Her smile faded. It's true that I was the one who gave them the curse, but I simply cannot undo it. It is they who must break it, not me. Their father may be dead, but so long as Gold's heart isn't returned to her, then they will remain as toys. Their father may be dead, but so long as Gold's heart isn't returned to her, then they will remain as toys. I tightened my hands into fists. How could she not understand that they already suffered long enough because of their father's mistakes? They didn't deserve to suffer like this. I couldn't hide my anger anymore. How do you expect them to find her heart if they're stuck in this cursed mansion? That's the reason why I led you here. Her comment surprised me. I stumbled back a couple steps. What are you talking about? I wanted to teach their father a lesson. That's why I gave them this curse in hopes that he would change. It was a shame, though, because he had such amazing children, each special in their own way. Yet he chose to bind their wings instead of let them fly. The oldest one is a bright, talented boy. Present him with a problem, and he could solve it without complaint. I've not seen such a reliable boy in a long time. Everyone sees Deon as a lazy slacker, and honestly, that's how I saw him as well, until everything he told me today. Oh, there must be a reason why he's acting like this. Like that. And I have a strong feeling that it has something to do with their father. To keep it safe, I placed Gold's heart in that locket around your neck. My hand automatically reached for my locket, feeling it burn under my palm. That locket belonged to Goldilocks. She gave it to your mother as a parting gift. I didn't curse her like the others. Instead, I sent her home, taking away her memory of the Deluxe. I wanted to give the Lord of the Deluxe time to think about his mistakes and learn from them. Unfortunately, he didn't. Instead, he led himself to his grave by attempting to escape the mansion. She paused a moment, watching me take the story in. When your mother passed away, you became the only person left who can help break the Deluxe curse. But you were still suffering from grief during that time, so I had to wait until your heart was healed before I sent you here. After all, you can't help heal a broken heart when yours is broken as well. She was right. When Mother died, I was lost and in despair. Despair! Okay, I'm gonna shut up now. I didn't know what to do. It took me almost a year to live normally again. Tell me, how do we break the curse? The curse was supposed to be lifted as the locket came within the same room as Gold. But I was just there in Gold's room, so why didn't it work? Look at your locket. What do you see? I gasped. I didn't realize it before, but now that I knew Gold's heart was within it, I understood. It has so much rust! That's right. Gold is a pure metal. It will definitely tarnish over time, but it should not have rusted. A heart in this house has wished for the curse to remain. Its emotional turmoil was tangled in the curse, and the locket has been affected. I suddenly remembered what Deon said earlier about not wanting Gold to see them like this. That could be the reason why he wanted the curse to stay. When you went into Gold's room, Deon's heart thinks that Gold is safer with the curse. But now, it seems like he's beginning to doubt his heart. She smiled again, softer than before. It's up to you to completely undo the curse. I panicked when the toymaker's body slowly began to fade away. Wait, how am I supposed to do that? She still smiled at me. In order to break the curse, something must be repaired first. I opened my eyes and I cringed when the bright light welcomed me. I blinked a few times to clear my vision, and that's when I realized I was still in Deon's room. Woo! Warm fingers slowly laced with my own, and I let myself relish the comfort it gave me. Does that mean Deon is human? What the? I knew it! Deon is human! Yay! My brain ceased to function at the sight that greeted me. I could only stare, my cheeks heating up with embarrassment. There was a man. A very good-looking man at that. No doubt. Who was most certainly not Deon, sleeping soundly on the bed, his hand holding mine. I quickly tried to pull my hand free, but his grip only tightened. Don't go. Dear beloved Mother in heaven, what have I done? Hold on, let me repeat that. Dear beloved Mother in heaven, what have I done? I just slept next to a man I've never met before. Desperate, I tucked my hand again and a soft groan escaped from his lips. He's awake! His eyes fluttered open, revealing a set of beautiful brown eyes. He smiled at me, as though we had known each other for a long time. Oh, Ara, good morning. I didn't know you were still here. I could only gasp in response. Why are you staring at me like we've never met before? Because we haven't! Who are you and what are you doing in Deon's bed? I realized that Deon was also nowhere to be found, and then began to really panic. The man raised a brow, looking even more confused than I felt. Then his gaze shifted to our entwined hands. His eyes widened in wonder as he stared from our hands to me. I don't have paws anymore, Aura! Realization dawned on me. You're Deon? Deon nodded enthusiastically and pulled me against his chest in a hug. I can't believe this, Aura. The spell must have been broken. As his warm body enveloped mine, my heart began to race at the intimacy of his hug. Too close. But I don't mind the closeness. My normal reaction would have been to push him away from me, but my mind was too preoccupied by other things, mostly with how this happened. It's up to you to completely undo the curse. A familiar voice rang in my head. My eyes widened in realization. That means the toy maker really did appear in my dream. And what's more, I already know how to break the curse. I was about to tell Deon what I discovered, but he was so happy and excited that he quickly pulled me out of the room. He then led us to the living room, where two guys were seated on the sofa and appeared to be waiting for us as well. Soul, and Royal. One man had the same blonde hair as Deon, but tied in a ponytail, while the other had dark skin and hair, glaring at us with silver eyes. I assumed they were Soul and Royal. Seconds later, a petite girl with pink hair and a woman with long, dark hair appeared as well, Lily and Miss Maria. All of them mirrored the same expression. Oh, Lily. Confusion. The curse has been broken? But how? Not completely. Gold. She didn't change back to human. What could have possibly changed us back then? I took a deep breath and began to tell them about my dream and my encounter with the toy maker. But I left the part about a troubled heart messing with the curse. I did not want anyone assuming the curse was Deon's fault. There were still mysteries to uncover before I would reveal that information. I knew it. That locket did belong to Gold. So how are we supposed to completely break the curse? Break the locket as well? We might end up destroying Gold's heart as well, so that is off the list. I opened my mouth, almost about to tell him how, but I caught sight of Deon, who seemed so deep in thought. I still chose to keep quiet about it, remembering that Deon didn't want everyone to know about his burdens. In the end, they decided the toy maker might appear in my dreams again, and we should wait patiently for that moment. But I knew that I wouldn't be seeing her anytime soon. Oh gosh. Well, finally, solid locked on Deon's route. That's been for a while now. But I'm afraid we're gonna have to stop here for today. We will continue more of Locked Heart in the next video. Well, now that Deon is human and everyone else is human, that means we finally broke the curse. It took us kind of broke the curse. It took us a while, but I'm so happy. I get to see Deon's cute face and of course Soul's face. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you guys like to see more of my videos, then click subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.